going to go ahead and do our introductions of visiting Rotarians, and Bob Conklin can help us with that.
Yeah, we've got Floyd Lucas and Maurice Capps from Lake Hickory, and Newton Conover, we got George Moretz. Welcome.
We have guests of Rotarians in the dining room today. Any guests to my right? Yes, Cliff.
My guest today is from Fry Hospital. She is the manager of mobile screening and the imaging supervisor, Ann Barber.
Welcome, Pam. Thanks for being with us today. Any other guests to the right? Do we have any guests down the center?
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. My name is Susan Smith Walker. I've gotten married since last year. And I want to thank all of you who have sent me emails and called me and encouraged me to come back. I had to leave for a little while. Especially Alan Finley. He said, honey, if you'll come back, I'll buy your lunch. So I am. I'm glad to be back, and thank you very much for all of you who encouraged me to come back.
We are so delighted to have you back, Susan. Grateful that you're here. Yes, Lynn.
President Suzanne, I have with me Tara Bland. Y'all will probably remember her as marketing and special events for Lake Hickory Country Club, but she is no longer with them. She is now with Salt Block, and at the end of August, she will be their executive director.
Great, awesome. Any guests or Rotarians to my left? Yes, Ernie?
My guest today is Beth Medlock. She's the primary title of Western Carolina Regional Program Director. Is that right? For Pretty in Pink Foundation. She's also going to be our guest speaker here on the 24th if you'd like to come and learn about the Pretty in Pink Foundation. And she helped me with my political campaign when I ran for mayor. She's a political junkie, she likes to say. And also a travel agent and event planner.
Great. Welcome, Beth. It's great to have you today. Any other guests to my left? Okay, well, let's go on ahead then with the Rotary moment. David?
How's the health of the club? Nobody told me. I guess everybody's fine. Birthdays. The 13th was Lynn Laird. The 16th is Stephen Walker. The 17th is Bobby Hummer. The 19th is John Milholland. And the 23rd is Clint Manning. A mother was struggling to get the ketchup out of the bottle when the phone rang. She asked her 4-year-old daughter to answer it. She heard her daughter say, "Mommy can't come to the phone. She's hitting the bottle."
Yikes, out of the mouth of babes. Cliff Boone has an announcement that he would like to make.
I just wanted to encourage, after Lynn's prayer today, I want you to rise, since we all prayed to God, that y'all would rise to the occasion. I've got up these spoke articles sign-up sheet on your table again, and you should have gotten an email from me this week. So please do this still rookie person in the club a favor and sign up as soon as you can. Bob Conklin, thank you, Bob. Took the 31st. Schubert Abernathy took November the 6th. Susan Vincent took the 12th of February, and Frank Young took the 23rd. But I would appreciate it as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Cliff. Thanks for those endeavors, and I'm sure everybody has something to say. This is your opportunity to say what you have to say, so please take it. I'm going to go ahead and turn the program over now to Jan Baumler.
Okay, today I am pleased to introduce Bill Laird to our program on the shelter box. I'm sure he needs no introduction. A lot of people know him here. I asked him to send me some information for this folks, some personal and some information about shelter box. The first thing that he wanted me to know is that he is married to past President Lynn. So that was the first thing he said. Anderson has been our assistant district governor for 5 years. He's past president of the Lake Hickory Rotary Club and was the former Shelter Box chairman for District 7670. Shelter Box is an international relief charity that provides immediate assistance to people affected by disasters such as hurricanes, tsunamis, typhoons, all sorts of things. The Shelter Box contains all life-saving equipment and shelter for 10 people. Our Hickory Rotary Club has provided 3 shelter boxes. I don't know if y'all remember, Bill did a program for us a number of years ago and brought the actual shelter box. It's amazing to see what is in there. So we've provided 3, and I think it's time for us to do another one. And I think after you see this, maybe you'll agree. So I'll turn it over to you.
Past President Suzanne. I'm going to start a book around. I bought this off the internet. If you look inside, you'll notice Maurice and Chief, I apologize, you have to hear this again. I just did this program 2 weeks ago. Anyway, that book is signed by Tom Henderson, who's the man who thought this up in the year 2000. He's a retired Navy diver and went to the hardware store. For his club's 2000, y'all will remember the centennial projects that each club was asked to try and conjure up. He persuaded the Helston Lizard Rotary Club in Cornwall, England, to start a project whereby they would buy this box at the hardware store, fill it up with life-saving equipment. 290 disasters later in 90 countries. It's an amazing service. Also in this morning's Charlotte Observer, they're just getting over last year's Typhoon Haiyan, one of the most powerful typhoons in recorded history. The Philippines just got tattooed with Typhoon Ramasoon. So I know Shelter Box will be in country again in the Philippines shortly. I'm going to show a video. It's only 6 minutes. At the end of the video, I'll probably I do the same, a different program every single time. But I'll try to tell you as much as I can and get you out of here early, probably. But let me show you the video first, and then I'll update you on what Shelter Box has been doing lately.
Imagine a situation where you've lost everything. Through earthquake or flood, tsunami or cyclone, volcano or conflict. What would you and your family need to survive? Imagine a situation where you've lost everything. Then a green box arrives, a shelter box.
It started out as a very simple concept. What would you need for your family if you lost everything in a disaster? A strong, tried and tested tent for shelter. Some thermal blankets, ground sheets, hats and gloves for warmth. Mosquito nets and a water filter to protect your family from disease. Pots and pans to cook with, a toolkit to repair your home, to earn your living. Basically life-saving, life-changing, very essential equipment.
Shelter Box was founded in the year 2000 and came of age after the Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004.
We were able to get hold of an Antonov 124, which is the largest aircraft in the world. We sent 10 Arctic lorry loads up, enough aid for 2,000 families. A massive effort that catapulted us onto the world stage of humanitarian aid.
Since then, over 100,000 shelter boxes have been sent to disaster victims on every continent around the world. Shelter boxes are delivered in the most effective ways possible. They're packed by teams of volunteers at Shelterbox HQ in Cornwall, England. They then travel by truck and aeroplane to the affected areas. And that's when the work really starts. Highly trained volunteers from the Shelterbox response team deliver boxes to the most vulnerable and work with communities to train them in using the equipment. Shelter boxes are delivered by boat or helicopter, tuk-tuk or donkey, whatever it takes. When a devastating earthquake hit Haiti in January 2010, Shelterbox mobilised, sending boxes within hours.
It really is unimaginable at this point, the totality of destruction throughout the city. Every open area is filled with people sleeping in the streets. Everyone's functioning without electricity, without water, makeshift shelters everywhere. It's unimaginable. Just the loss of life alone is massive. The coordination effort here is huge. It's not just we have shelter, it's where can we put that? Do we have enough for that entire camp? Can we provide security? Can others provide food, water, sanitation for those areas? So it's just a massive coordination effort, a number of different agencies that are here on the ground.
I told these people how to put up tents, and now we're putting up a tent one after another. Behind us, you can see the tents they used to live in. So this is the example of people working with us and camp building up.
Shelterbox sent nearly 30,000 boxes in total, helping almost a third of 1 million people. In Pakistan, nearly a month of rain caused floods that killed thousands and left millions homeless. Shelterbox responded by distributing enough shelter for 150,000 people.
It's a collective will of a huge number of people, from our volunteers, other agencies, our own response team volunteers, global affiliates and our staff. A lot of skill and endeavour goes into it. Every box we deliver brings hope and dignity to people in their greatest hour of need. There will always be families in need. Fortunately, there will also be those who want to help. Whatever your contribution, you can make a difference to families made homeless by disaster.
Shelterbox relies on volunteers and donations to make its work possible. Your gift of time or money can help save lives and give new hope to families who have lost everything. Bringing shelter, warmth and dignity in the shape of a green box.
I first learned about Shelterbox when I was lucky enough to be sent to Copenhagen in 2006. At that point in time, their display was in the House of Friendship, just right next door to a food court, and it was in the dark. And I talked to a British man who was not Tom Henderson. And I've always told Rotarians that if you've ever been to the international conference, first of all, it's a life-changing event, but there is something for you, for each one of you within Rotary. If you're an equestrian, a skydiver, a rock performer, a rock band performer, you collect stamps, coin collecting, this is it for me. This still costs $1,000 to to save 10 lives. It's probably, in my lifetime, the most profound thing I've ever seen and I've ever been lucky enough to be a part of. Quickly, last year will go down in history as the first year since World War II that more than 50 million people fled either war or persecution. That was in a UN study that was just released in April. Things that Shelter Box, in addition to what's in the spoke, they've been involved in Syria for 3 years. Ongoing effort, terrible, terrible war. They're still involved with Myanmar, it used to be called Burma. Now that country's at war, but they were originally involved with the tsunami. The Central African Republic with Chad and Cameroon, also Mali and Niger, and obviously they're heavily involved in Iraq. Really brave people going into war-torn provinces and helping the refugees. I could go on and on. Maybe I should answer questions. There are probably some really obvious things that I haven't covered. But anybody have any questions? I see a hand in the back.
How long will a tent last?
Well, I was on a mission trip to Haiti last October. And 4 years after the earthquake, we passed by villages that still, their only housing was shelter box tents. They're designed to last for a year.
How much do they cost?
There's still, believe it or not, 14 years after it began, $1,000 a box. And that includes shipment worldwide. They've come a long way. I was telling my club that the tent thicknesses vary. If it's going to go to a very cold climate, they have thicker tents. They wouldn't be sending mosquito netting to a colder climate. Matter of fact, they didn't even have mosquito netting in the first box that I ever had. They have a school box that's totally separate. It's red. It has all the supplies in that language for schools. If Shelter Box learns or Rotarians let them know that our school's been damaged. Like when Katrina hit, they provided red school boxes in Louisiana in addition to shelter boxes.
What is in the shelter box other than the school box? And do you have a food partner? Is there somebody, Cisco or some IFH? Anybody that partners, is there any food contained in it?
That's the one thing that's not in the box.
Okay.
But it's a pot, I think you sort of saw pots, pans, blankets, everything you would need if you were totally wiped out. Tom Henderson, I'm told, I haven't met him, but I had written him when I got involved with Stop Hunger Now, because that little bag has a shelf life of 5 years, takes almost no space. We Rotarians have cranked out well, we didn't. Carol King's year, we did 1 million out of this district. So I wrote him and said, why don't we partner with Stop Hunger Now and slip a bag in the box? And the lady who is the head of the United States branch of Stop Hunger Now told me if it's not Tom's idea, it doesn't happen. So Stop Hunger Now bags are not a part of the shelter box. And I think it's a shortcoming, but I've been told that because there aren't foodstuffs, that's one of the things that getting through customs or whatever it might be called in a certain country, it's not a hindrance to getting the shelter boxes in. And on your tables, I put an article I copied off of the internet about shelter box and Rotary, which I thought was interesting. It's often the Rotarians in country that can quickly determine the damage that's been done and the needs that have been created, and communicate that to Shelter Box so that they pack the boxes most efficiently. And there are also 5 points of debarkation around the globe where they've shipped pre-shipped boxes in anticipation of an eventual need. That's why they can respond as quickly as they do. They were in country in Haiti after the earthquake within 12 hours, and you probably remember the Haiti, quote, government would not allow our naval vessels to come in and bring humanitarian aid for days. We were offshore. Shelter box gets around those things. Yes, sir.
How do you prioritize which areas you're helping? Do you feel like you have enough funding and support to get every area that you want, or do you have to make strategic decisions on
Well, they
which
have
areas?
a board, and they have paid staff who I'm sure have to deal with those things. I bet you I've given 60 programs or 70 programs. That's one of the best questions that's never been asked. I don't have an answer for that, but I'm sure they can't meet every need. Alan.
Hey Bill, this has nothing to do with shelter boxes, but can you quickly tell the club about your relationship with Gus later? I don't think enough people know that.
The very first Rotary meeting that was held in Chicago in 1905, it was not at Paul Harris's office. For some reason, they had it at a guy named Gus Lair's office. That building's been torn down, but they have recreated. If you ever are lucky enough to go to Evanston, Illinois, to Rotary World Headquarters, I finagled a trip the last time I was in Chicago. And Evanston's only like, I don't know, it was a 20-minute train ride north. But anyway, in the headquarters building, they have recreated his office. It has Gus Lair on the door, it has the date of the first meeting, it has the actual table the four men sat at. Lynn and I, when we went out to Salt Lake City, we spent hours with a lady at the Church of Latter-day Saints computer system. What I know is Gus and my grandfather Otto were born 3 years apart, same part of the Midwest. Both were mining engineers, and she surmised that there's a brother relationship, but that's all I know. But it's pretty neat. Thank you all. Oh, one more question.
One more question. I noticed on the video at the bottom it says Young Shelter Box. Is that?
They get a lot of youth involved in fundraising. Real proud of the Boy Scouts around the world that have picked up on the theme of helping. You can earn a Shelter Box merit badge. They have a Shelter Box Day that takes place in June each year. It's a big event overseas, and particularly in Europe. The United States, since I've been involved trying to raise money for it, has always provided about 8% of the total funding. Europe and Australia, far and away the lion's share of funding, and why that is, I don't know. The best year this district ever had was, I think it was 2008, and we came in third in the United States, all the Rotary districts in the United States. We raised 274 boxes, which is pretty cool. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you. And I did hear someone say that we need to do it again, that we haven't done it for a while. This club has done 3, and I want to go ahead and suggest, sometimes I think it's best to do it when there is a program, if it's okay with our treasurer, just to allow people to make contributions today. You know, we could probably raise $1,000 right now if people wanted to write a check or give some cash, and we can go ahead and do that and just turn it in up here at the table. So no time like the present to go ahead and jump in and answer the call. So let's go ahead with our Service Above Self Scholarship raffle.
Took
Again, $71 today. We have 44 cards, 1 joker, and the total is $550.
And the winning ticket, the last 3 digits are 815.
815? 551 815. Who's another one? Come on down. Free lunch. Don't forget your ticket. Thanks for participating. Want to remind everyone to be generous with their donations to the CART fund. Don't forget. That's for your memory. Thank our visitors today, Chief Lucas, Maurice, George, Pam, Tara, and Beth. And I want to encourage people to stay and linger since we have some time. If you have any Rotary business or just want to socialize and hang out, please do so. You have the time today. It's a gift.